Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to completely change the way you look at your bed, your bedroom, and your nightly rest. We're going to explore the hidden architecture of sleep using some truly fascinating new data. So if you've ever struggled to get a solid night's rest, you'll definitely want to stick around, because the information we're unpacking today, it's an absolute game changer.
Okay, let's jump right into this incredibly universal frustration. We've all been there, right? You crank the AC down, the room literally feels like an icebox, but somehow you still wake up at 3 a.m., a sweaty, restless mess, kicking off your blankets like you're fighting off a ghost. It feels like your body is betraying you. Well, today we're going to use science to figure out exactly why this happens, and more importantly, how to actually fix it.
To solve this mystery, here's our agenda. We'll cover 1. The biology of sleep temperature. 2. When bodies run hot. 3. The 3 hidden microclimates. 4. Mastering your bedroom climate. And 5. The perfect pre-sleep routine. All right, kicking things off with Section 1, the biology of sleep temperature and how we cool down.
The absolutely crucial point here is this concept of thermoregulation. Human bodies are literally hardwired to cool down at night, for your brain to get the green light to initiate sleep and to keep you locked into those deeply restorative REM and non-REM cycles. Your core body temperature actually must drop by about 1 degree. If your environment or your own biology stops this core drop from happening, well, your body has to work overtime. It triggers a stress response, spikes your heart rate, and yanks you right out of your deep sleep.
Now, what's genuinely fascinating here is how our biology shifts this timing based on gender. For women, the sleep hormone melatonin is actually released earlier in the evening, and their intrinsic circadian period is about 6 minutes shorter than men's. Plus, women spend about 8 minutes longer in deep, non-REM sleep. Men, on the flip side, tend to be later chronotypes, meaning their internal clocks naturally push them to stay up later. And get this, they are a staggering 3 times more likely to suffer from obstructive sleep apnea. It's wild because it just goes to show that a one-size-fits-all approach to sleep, it completely misses the mark.
Moving right along to Section 2, when bodies run hot, also known as our internal furnaces.
And honestly, there's no better example of an internal furnace than pregnancy. For expecting mothers, pregnancy acts like a massive cardio workout that literally lasts for 9 months. Surging progesterone raises the baseline body temperature, often hovering right around 99 degrees Fahrenheit in early pregnancy. On top of that, the body is pumping up to 50% more blood volume to support the baby, which radiates heat straight from the inside out. Add in a skyrocketing basal metabolic rate that peaks in the 3rd trimester, and you've got massive amounts of internal heat that the body desperately needs to shed just to fall asleep.
Which brings us to this number, brilliantly illustrating the body's incredible ability to adapt. Research shows that by the 3rd trimester, the maternal body has adapted to this heat load so drastically that a pregnant woman's thermoneutral comfort zone, basically where she feels perfectly comfortable, actually drops by a full 4 degrees Celsius compared to early pregnancy. I mean, they literally require a much colder environment just to feel a baseline level of comfort.
All right, let's get into Section 3, the 3 hidden microclimates. This is really the core revelation. This totally shifts how we need to think about going to bed. You don't just sleep in a room. You sleep trapped inside 3 distinct, layered thermal microclimates. Let's break down each one of these, starting closest to your body and moving outward. First up is the mattress skin microclimate. When you lie down, the pressure points at your shoulders, your back, and your hips create a sealed-off space with almost zero airflow. If you're sleeping on, say, a traditional memory foam mattress, this layer basically acts as a hidden heat trap. It absorbs your body heat, it traps the humidity from your sweat, and creates this damp, hot pocket that spikes your heart rate and fragments your deep sleep, often without you even realizing it's happening.
Moving outward, the second layer is the pajama skin microclimate. This is just a super thin film of air sitting right against your body, but it dictates everything. The material you wear to bed can literally be the difference between sleeping soundly and waking up completely drenched. Breathable, natural materials. Think cotton, bamboo, merino wool. They wick moisture right away from your skin. But synthetic fabrics, like polyester, they act like plastic wrap. They trap the humidity, elevate your thermal load, and cause your sympathetic nervous system to go into overdrive. And finally, the third layer, the skin duvet microclimate. This is that insulated cocoon right above you. Science tells us that a highly specific temperature range between 31 and 34 degrees Celsius right under those covers is the absolute sweet spot. If your duvet breathes well and keeps the air right in this Goldilocks zone, your sleep stages remain totally stable. If it traps heat, you'll be unconsciously kicking off the covers all night long.
Zooming out a bit, let's hit Section 4, Mastering Your Bedroom Climate, or the macro environment.
Your bedroom is your macro climate, and it dictates the baseline for all those microclimates we just talked about. Sleep specialists universally recommend setting your bedroom thermostat precisely in this cool range of 60 to 67 degrees Fahrenheit. Stepping into a room this cool instantly signals your brain that, hey, the day is over, and it's time to initiate that 1-degree core temperature drop.
Now, if you ignore that advice and keep your room too warm, you experience a nasty little phenomenon called thermal stacking. This means the heat and humidity don't just hang out in the room, they compound across all 3 layers of your bed. The mattress gets hotter, your pajamas get sweatier, and the duvet traps way more heat. When thermal stacking occurs, your body just can't shed its internal heat, and your sleep efficiency absolutely plummets.
But remember, temperature is only half the battle. 30 to 50%, that is the ideal humidity level for your bedroom. Anything higher than 50% is pretty much a disaster for sleep. Humid air is heavy. It actually swells your nasal tissues, which narrows your breathing passages and significantly worsens conditions like snoring and sleep apnea. Plus, high humidity is a literal breeding ground for dust mites and allergens that'll disrupt your breathing all night long.
All right, bringing it all together in Section 5, the perfect pre-sleep routine. Let's take some action.
This data right here completely debunks a massive myth. You might think a freezing cold shower before bed is the perfect way to cool down, right? Well, while a cold plunge feels refreshing, it actually spikes stress hormones like cortisol and norepinephrine. It increases your heart rate and makes you more alert. The data proves a warm shower between 104 and 108.5 degrees Fahrenheit is vastly superior for sleep. Why? Because the warm water draws blood away from your core and out to your extremities, your hands and feet. This allows your core body heat to easily escape, perfectly setting up that 1-degree temperature drop you need for deep sleep.
So let's wrap all this amazing science up into a highly actionable checklist you can actually use tonight. First, take a warm shower 1 to 2 hours before bedtime to jumpstart your body's cooling process. Second, audit your microclimates. Ditch the polyester and use breathable, natural fibers for both your pajamas and your sheets. Third, set your room thermostat to that sweet spot of 60 to 67 degrees Fahrenheit. And lastly, if you live in a humid climate, run a dehumidifier to keep your bedroom's moisture levels strictly between 30 and 50%.
I'm going to leave you with this provocative thought. You don't sleep in a room. You sleep inside 3 microclimates. Now that you understand the hidden architecture of sleep and just how profound an impact temperature and humidity have on your biology, you actually have the power to change it. So I have to ask, are your microclimates working for you or against you? It's time to take control of your environment, cool down, and finally get the restorative rest you absolutely deserve.